going on, guys? Welcome back to the Broad Street Boys, and here we are, me and Caleb back again, home from college, ready to talk some baseball. I gave my opinion in the last episode. We're gonna hear Caleb's opinion on the Phillies, and we're just gonna talk everything Phillies today, whether that's trade deadline, who needs to step it up, Caleb's opinion on everything. We might just ramble for an hour. Who knows? We'll just figure it out. So we'll hop right into it. Caleb, let's just hear all your opinions about the year. Just got off that 9-game winning streak. I would love to hear your opinion on that and if it was real or any of that. So go ahead.
Um, First off, any win streak is real.
Agreed.
Like look at some of the teams. Like yes, they are bottom tier teams, but they do have some good pieces. Let's see, Rockies have Bird.
Yeah.
We just talked about.
Yep.
They have like what, one starter. It's funny because the one starter who had like a decent ERA, we absolutely killed. But then like the other guys like Germán Marquez, we kind of struggled against a little bit.
Right.
It is real, especially against the A's. I don't think the A's are that bad of a team. They're
totally
really
agree.
They're young.
Totally agree.
But yeah, no, not a fluky win streak at all. Definitely awesome, and I'm really happy with where this team is right now.
I'm with you. This team, I was talking like yesterday. Like I don't know how to like judge this team because it's weird. That 9-game win streak like felt real because they were crushing people. They're pitching pretty well, even in cores and in a smaller ballpark like the A's. So obviously there is positives, but at the same time, it is the Rockies, it is the Pirates, it is the A's. Like at the end of the day, especially the Pirates. The Pirates are so sad because I mean we saw it was a Paul Skeens masterclass, and then it just crumbled.
I was just gonna say that we beat Paul Skeens. Yes, it was a little. It was a grounder that Marsh beat out at first, which was awesome on him to beat that out. But we beat Skeens. We beat J.P. Sears,
right?
Who I think is a pretty good.
He's better.
We demolished Mason Miller 2 nights in a row.
We did.
Like they're even though like they're bottom teams, there are a lot of highlights against all-star caliber players that
Agreed.
we absolutely destroyed.
Agreed. And it's so there's that aspect where it is good, but then at the same time, like what was that, like a week or two before the streak happened, you had Bryce Harper slumping, hitting 230. So like you don't know how to like judge that. Plus Trey Turner wasn't doing great, but like just before this either. And then he kind of used this 9-game win streak to catch fire and start going. So it's very interesting to see. But Caleb and I have differing opinions on some things, especially Trey Turner wise. So we'll get into that. I would love to hear your opinion on Trey Turner, Caleb. Go ahead. No, yeah.
He's been our best player this year.
Sure.
He's not a power hitter. He's never been a power hitter. Yes, towards the end of his time with the Nationals and especially with the Dodgers, he tried to turn himself into more of a power hitter.
Right.
Which was okay for him. And I think he tried to carry that into Philly, with Philly being a smaller ballpark. Yeah. Why I think he struggled a little bit, because if you were to go back to 23 and 24 seasons where he was off, he is overextending in the swing, trying to pull the ball over to left field, put it out. And if you look at his swing now, it's literally just bat to the ball. Like this is the Trey Turner that we wanted to sign, and the one that we've been looking for. So I'm really happy with how he's playing right now, but also throughout this whole season, I think he's just been consistent. I know you feel otherwise, but he's not a power hitter. He's a guy who's going to put the ball in play. If it's an infield single or he just hits it on the ground, he's going to beat it out. What was it? He hit 30.6 like feet per second sprint speed.
Yeah,
like he's on the older side, but he's still putting up numbers with like Bobby Witt Jr. Chandler Simpson is he's on his own. He's got his own tier right now. But like a lot of faster guys, Trey Turner, he's older, but he's still just as quick and as fast.
He's definitely there. My big thing with Trey Turner is I feel like in the field, like I feel like I need to see something from that guy in the field. He does have a few flashes, like stuff like that. But sometimes I feel like I watch him at shortstop and he makes routine plays look really hard. And I don't know if it's the way he throws, and as we've all seen, it's a very loopy type of throw. I don't really
Mm-hmm.
know what it is, and I feel like he makes Harper pick balls all the time, and but like I feel like it's not even on like they just don't need to be like that. Um, it's just my opinion, and I don't love. I mean, I listen. I wouldn't say I'm a Trey Turner hater, but I'm close. I'm on the border of it. And but coming from a guy that is that, I will say this past week and a half, he's been great. Like he's been getting
Mm-hmm.
on base. His on base percentage is going up. I think my thing with Trey Turner is that like why this is gonna sound weird, but like why did he feel the need to become a home run hitter? Like I feel like that totally messed up his swing for the past 2 years, and he's only had a few moments that I feel like a dude that's being paid 310 or $300 million a year should have, and I feel like because me personally, I do compare like his contract to like Bryce Harper's contract. Bryce Harper, a dude that's had many moments, many like amazing moments, not even just in the postseason, but also in the regular season. Whether that's his walk off grand slam or him just being clutch or him just willing hits against the other the pitcher. But then I see Trey Turner and Trey is not super clutch. I'll be honest, not super clutch. Just my opinion. He's not super clutch. I can't really remember the last time he's got like a truly clutch hit, like home run, other than I'm talking pre 9-game win streak, by the way, because I know he had that big home run against the A's, which turned out not to be very big because we lost. But I feel like it's just the moments and the way that Bryce Harper carries himself versus the way that Trey Turner carries himself, if that makes sense. Does that make any sense? Probably not, because you are a big Trey Turner guy. But that's just how I feel. Um, and me personally, I'm just waiting for him to have a really big moment in the playoffs. I mean, I know he had that home run against Strider. I will 100% say that. Um, but that Mets series, you can't say he was great during that Mets series, especially defensively. Um, so that's just my opinion.
He batted. I was listening to the radio too, and people were saying, "Oh, Trey Turner was awful in the playoffs." He still hit 315. He was getting on base. He was doing his job. It was the guys like Bohm, Stott, Schwarber who did not do anything.
Yeah, see, Schwarber had one hit and Bohm had one hit, but it wasn't
They
even a
got
hit. He was
he
thrown out.
got thrown out trying to get to second base.
It was those two. I don't really blame Stott because Stott had that really big hit against Edwin. I don't really blame him that much. And plus, I don't. And we're gonna get into this as well because I mentioned this yesterday. I want to talk to you about it. But Stott works a great at bat, and I feel like that's something that I expected Trey Turner to come to Philly having. And to me, he doesn't work a great at bat. Or he has been better recently. I will say 100% been much better recently. But for the past 2 years and like a quarter that he's been here, you would think that this dude that is so fast, so like fundamentally great at the plate would work 4 or 5 pitch at bats, and I feel like I see him just like strike out on 3 pitches a lot. That's just what I've seen. It's the straight eye test. I watch probably too much baseball with the Phillies, but that's honestly just what I see. Um, but actually, kind of segueing into this, um, did we not call the Bryson Stott at leadoff thing, Caleb? Did we not call this? I feel like we've been on the record
Dude,
pleading.
we've been talking about Bryson Stott being a leadoff guy for probably the past year now because it's like
Literally.
he he works at bats, he
Yep.
gets on base, but he walks a lot, not as much
Right.
as Schwarber, but he walks a lot, and he can steal bags.
He is. I saw a stat that I think percentage wise, ever since he's come up here, he's like one of the highest stolen base percentage guys in the entire league. And the
Mm-hmm.
fact that he could work a walk, again, this is what the two of us have been saying this for you're probably right, like a year. Yes, like you want to see Schwarber probably lead off for Turner lead off. Who cares? Bryson Stott is probably not the sexiest pick to put at number one, but he works the best at bats. He's got a super high on base percentage, and he works the amount of walks that you want as from your leadoff hitter. So listen, I just wanted to fit that in there because I mentioned that yesterday, and I wanted us to not pat ourselves on the back, but kind of pat ourselves on the back with that idea because I feel like we've been on the record saying this for I don't even know how long.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Um, I also want to talk bullpen. I want to hear your opinions on. I mean, obviously Jose Alvarado is going to be out for 80 games, including the postseason. I would like to hear your ideas about who's been performing well in his absence, and then possibly some other arms that you would like to see us add as well.
So since Alvarado got suspended, Kirkering's been great.
True.
Romano's been really good. Actually, the past month,
Yeah,
Romano's been really good. I know against the
really
A's,
good.
he struggled, but also
Yeah,
Wheeler said the mound was bad. But
exactly.
so obviously, maybe there was something with the mound there that kind of threw him off.
Right.
Strom has been okay. He's
Yeah,
very hit or miss right now.
I agree. Hot or cold.
Yeah, uh, I think since Alvarado got hurt, whenever he's in, Tanner Banks hasn't been terrible. Like he's been on the better side, but
Yeah.
he's still not a guy that I want to see out there throwing in the playoffs.
Yeah. No.
Ruiz sucks.
Yeah. But it was so weird
Hernan,
because he wasn't Ruiz pretty good last year
he was like, if
or
we needed
better.
someone to go like two
Yeah.
innings,
I guess you're right. Actually. Yeah. Okay. Keep going.
Hernandez sucks.
Yeah.
I really like Taiwan Walker out of the bullpen.
Me too.
I hope it's not just me, but I think the bullpen is probably the perfect spot for him,
Hmm.
especially right now, just because
Hmm.
he can throw harder out of there, knowing he's not going to throw as many pitches.
Right.
Um, who else do we have?
It's funny.
Lazar,
Yeah,
no.
ass. I was saying yesterday. I want to get your opinion on this, but Carlos Fernandez is bad right now. I will fully say that right now. But at the same time, tell me if you agree. I feel like he has the stuff to be good, if that makes sense. He throws a 99. He's got a knuckle curve. He's got a changeup and a slider. But every pitch is right down the middle, I feel like. Do you agree? Every pitch.
He's got the stuff with zero control.
Zero. Like Jose Alvarado 6 years ago, control. Like throwing everywhere. It's either down the middle or like hitting the backstop. Like there's no in between.
It's Hector Neris without that ability to close out games.
That's exactly like I was saying yesterday. Like, I saw a graph the other day. It was on Twitter, and it was like usually like when you spot your fastball pretty well, you're pretty successful. It was a literal like box, and everything was not just middle. It was upper middle, and because there was like a big red like oval there, and that's the hot spot. Everybody was crushing that. So that's where his fastball ended up a lot, and that's obviously an issue. But yeah, continue. Sorry.
We need bullpen help.
Yeah.
I think our offense. I think it's good. I mean, I would love to get another righty bat,
Hmm.
preferably someone who's in the outfield,
Hmm.
who could actually who could be an everyday player. Like I'd like Kepler.
Yeah.
Marsh is doing much better, but Kepler's on a 1 year deal. Marsh goes through stints where he's good and then he gets hurt
Yep.
and he sucks. He doesn't. I mean, he has power, but we haven't seen any of it.
Yeah. Especially this year.
So, yeah, bullpen help. We definitely need
Mhm.
outfield bat. That's a
100%.
righty.
100%. And we're just gonna shoot off some names too because we have some ideas. Just in general, I think. Do you think we should start with like bullpen? Let's just start with bullpen.
So with bullpen.
Yeah. A name that's super intriguing to both of us. At least this is the dude on like number one on my list. And that's Felix Bautista, the Mountain. Um, and ever since he's come back from injury, he hasn't been amazing, but we've seen um, how good he can be and how great that fastball can be. And then he's also got pretty good off speed as well. Especially, tell me if I'm wrong, Caleb, but coming back from Tommy John, I feel like you're always a little shaky your first like 2 or 3 months. But then
Mm-hmm.
once you find it again, like you start throwing at your full capacity eventually.
Yeah, like look at Strider right now.
Exactly. Yes.
He like a guy who can touch 102.
Yeah.
Who was sitting at like 94, 95 last night.
Exactly. Which was so weird. I think I texted you. I was like, man, like as much as I mean I hate Spencer Strider, but like as much as I hate the guy, but like I kind of felt bad because he couldn't get above 95. I don't know if he hit 96, or maybe he did once or twice, but it
I
was
don't.
more like 95, 94. And I mean, we've seen Spencer Strider in the playoffs. That dude threw nothing below 99. So like
Mm-hmm.
it was just very very odd. But yeah, Felix Bautista is definitely a name for us. And I feel like again, tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like as a closer, if you're in a more not high stress, but more of a competitive situation, I feel like that almost takes your intensity and your location and your work ethic almost up a notch. And I feel like that could happen with a dude like Felix Bautista, especially because the dude is. I actually looked up his size today, Caleb. He's 6'8", 285. That's what it says. That's what it says.
The mountain.
The mountain's legit. Plus he's got a sick walkout song and he's got a cool nickname. Always adds. Who's someone that you would like as well? How about
Um, it depends on how much you want to give up,
yeah,
because there is Mason Miller, who I
yeah.
think will be getting a lot of looks, and I'm sure the A's are going to get a lot of offers for
Mhm.
him. I don't know if they will give him up, or
Yeah,
I'm sure the asking price is going to be really high. Um,
definitely.
he's been struggling a little bit with control recently, or maybe it's batters figuring out just sit on fastball.
Yeah.
But if his value gets hurt
Mhm.
and it drops a little bit, I would love for the Phillies to go after him. Who
Same.
else? Pete Fairbanks we talked about.
Yes,
He's a
Fairbanks is
guy who's
great.
he's a guy who's up there who I think would be. He's got good stuff too.
Really good stuff. He throws hard. He's got a disgusting slider. I don't know if you saw it. It was on like pitching ninja. I think the other day, it was a
Mm-hmm.
disgusting slider that literally because he's a lefty, started from where he goes and he went to the other batter's box, but it was gross. So like he is disgusting. Um, and then at the same time, I also had Ryan Helsley in mind. As we know, I mean the Cardinals are pretty okay now, but we can't really expect the Cardinals to be amazing, down the road. Just
Mm-hmm.
with their team's young and their team's not very good. So Helsley could definitely be on the move. Helsley is a super interesting, you know, player just because he throws a 100, 101, but he's also got a knockout slider and a changeup. Correct? I think he's got a changeup as well. He's a 3-pitch pitcher. He's just
Believe so.
right, or maybe it's like his third pitch that he throws like 5% of the time. Who cares? I feel like he'd be a great add at the back of that bullpen as well. We also mentioned Andrew Chafin would be really interesting. The Nationals, I mean, Chafin's on a 1-year deal, right? Because I think. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so Chafin would be super interesting to not really replace, but kind of replace Alvarado's production. He's also been pretty good, and he definitely has that intensity that you kind of need from a dude in the back of the bullpen. And he could also give a guy like Matt Strom a day off as well. Do you have
Yeah.
anybody else in mind? I'm kind of
Yeah. I mean, the Nationals have a couple of guys who I think
right.
just out of the bullpen
Yeah,
who would solve some issues for us. I mean, they're aside from Chafin, they're kind of having like down years. So there's Michael Soroka, who I wanted the Phillies to get over the offseason, just because like he was with the White Sox. He was okay there. He's doing a little bit better with the Nationals. There's Trevor Williams. Those are two guys I would kind of like to see them at least ask about.
right.
And I
Just to
think
check in.
especially yeah, and I think also with a better defense behind them in a more competitive setting, they would be really good.
Yeah, and especially with the so I actually love those two names. I think Soroka's a guy. I don't know if you listen to him, but on the High Host podcast, Jack Fritz, who's a big baseball guy, big fan of Mike Soroka and everything because he's got so many pitches and all that. Um, he's an interesting name, but you just actually sparked something in my mind. Like Chafin would be super interesting because wasn't Chafin really good on that Tigers team last year?
Yeah.
Like a really solid back end bullpen. But let's be honest here, that Tigers team, like pitching wise, they were hot. Like they came in hot and they beat the Astros, I think, and they lost to the Guardians, right? I think. So that's a name that could very well be somebody that like plays up to the moment. Especially because Chafin's pretty old, isn't he? Isn't he like 35,
He-
36?
he's been around.
Yeah.
He's been around for sure. I forget how old he is though.
Yeah. But
Um,
it's almost a guy like that could really help the younger pitchers on our team too. Because like Strom isn't exactly young. So I'm not quite sure how much like like experience he could have with like helping other players. But at the same time, like Chafin could help like Orion Kirkering with his confidence. He could, like imagine like Mick Abel comes up and eventually pitches in the bullpen. It could really help him with his confidence to give him tips and all that. I think that could be someone that I would love. Um, but I was also thinking Jorge Lopez would be interesting too.
oh,
Um,
he would.
right? I mean, he's definitely got the moxie and the confidence to come out of the bullpen, especially in a winning environment. But just ideas. Yeah, I was trying to
There,
think of yeah. Go ahead.
there, there are two guys from the White Sox
Mhm.
who I think have had somewhat of a closing role.
Okay.
Um, Mike Vasile and Steven Wilson,
Okay.
both having good years so far.
Right.
They're both sitting around like 2.3
Hmm.
ERA.
Hmm.
I don't know how high their price would be,
Hmm.
but I mean for a back end bullpen, I think Steven Wilson for sure would be super helpful for us.
Right. Anyone could help at this point. Like I actually don't like you. I think you mentioned before, but like Romano's been really solid recently.
Hmm.
Same with Kirkering. But it would be nice to get another left-handed reliever with Alvarado out, or even a right-handed. Anyone that you can kind of rely on, in the crunch time moments. Okay. Now, I would also here's where it's gonna get real crazy because we like to talk about crazy things. I would love to hear your ideas for non-pitchers, whether that's outfield, a certain first baseman. I would love to hear your opinions. Go ahead.
Um, Everything with Hoskins, I think, is dead.
I think it might
I
be too.
don't, I don't, I don't, I don't think one they would want to move Harper back into the outfield just to bring back
Yeah,
Hoskins.
yeah,
Milwaukee loves him right now. We will probably see them in the playoffs again. They're
yeah.
not. I don't think they're getting rid of him. But for the outfield, there are three and a half, four guys, I guess you could say.
Hmm.
Taylor Ward
Yep.
of the Angels. He's definitely a guy that we could put in left field. But the thing is that if we put him in left field, center field, I mean, given that I don't know if they'll want Marsh back. I don't know if they'll want Kepler,
Yeah, like Rojas.
but
Yeah,
he's a righty bat. He's got power, but I think he does hit on like the 250 side. I don't.
ish. Yeah.
Yeah. And
I
like
I can
even
look.
when he's on, he's always around 250. I think he's hitting like 220 right
Okay. I
now.
I can look real quick. Keep going.
So average is down, but like he's on what like a 10 game streak of doubles and home runs right now, extra base hit streak.
Yeah.
So like
He's hit.
he's definitely heating up. He's
Yeah.
he's gonna get traded for sure. I know the Padres are going after him hard right now, but he's a guy who will definitely not be on the Angels come post deadline.
Yeah.
Um, Luis Robert is a name that has been thrown out there for a while.
Yeah.
I,
Definitely.
I don't I
It
don't
is.
I don't think I wouldn't hate that. He's a ready power bat. Yes, the only thing there is he does get hurt,
Mm-hmm.
but he has
Often.
said he ha- correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
He has said that his production being down is part of being on the White Sox, where it's like he's not as motivated, he's not as competitive. Um,
100%. Yes. I'm
I,
almost
I
positive
think
he's on the record.
I think if he was to go to a contender, he would break out again.
Definitely. Yes.
So I don't hate the idea of trading for him.
Mm-hmm.
Another guy who I think is the best option, but we haven't been tied to yet is Brenton Doyle.
Yeah.
He's having somewhat of a down year offensively, but again, it could be a Luis Rivera situation where Doyle he's young, 25, 26, on the Rockies. I don't know how motivated he is or like where his confidence is at. he worked a lot of good at bats against the Phillies. So I think if he's in a lineup where he's protected, where it's like he has to see strikes, I think he
Right.
would be fantastic. He's fast. He's a Gold Glove defender. I think he's the perfect fit for us.
Right.
Will it happen? Probably not. And then there's the guy who we've been linked to already, Cedric Mullins, who
Yep.
I don't. He's probably like 2A for me. Doyle being 1, and then 2A and 2B being Robert and Mullins.
Funny. I feel the same way. Mullins is a type of dude that he he's either going to have a really big impact come like October, or he's going to be like Austin Hayes, and there's no in between. You know what I mean? There's
Mm-hmm.
no in between with that one. Um, it's just funny. Like I was telling Caleb off camera, but I saw a thing on Twitter that since 2023, Marsh and Mullins have very similar numbers, with Marsh even out hitting him in a lot of aspects. However, you could also bring up the fact that Mullins has been much better this year specifically. I mean, me personally, I live with a Orioles fan, and at the beginning of the year, Mullins was the only guy doing anything on that team. It's a little different now, but he's still pretty solid. I wouldn't mind him. I actually feel the exact same way, non pitcher wise. Like Brenton Doyle, everything that you said is completely correct. Like the dude can work in at bat. Like I'm pretty sure he's like what, a 2 or 3 hitter right now. I think, right? Or is he more like
I think he's 5.
five?
He's right in the middle of their lineup right now.
Right.
I wonder if that's their way of trying to protect him a little bit. Because I think he has McMahon,
Yeah.
and they're they have a catcher or a DH who's like hitting really well right now. I think he's like sandwiched in
Yeah.
between them.
Whatever. But like the point being is he would probably hit 8 or 9. So essentially being protected by the entire rest of the lineup, right? So
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like you said, like he would get a ton more, pitches to hit. Um, and I feel like something that we haven't even talked about is the fact that he is a Gold Glover. Dude can flat out like play center field at a high level. Especially like I feel like I think he's got 1 or 2 Gold Gloves or whatever, and I feel like in the Rocky series he wasn't great defensively, but I could tell it's because he's on a really bad team, so it's just harder to. I don't know. I feel like the motivation isn't there, but you put him on a team that is motivated, which would make him motivated. I feel like that would be a great fit, as well. And plus, like you said, he's 26, 20, 25, 26.
Mm-hmm.
We would probably have to give up Marsh. We'd probably have to give up a few assets. But at the same time, I would be totally in with that. Um, Luis Robert, I feel like you're totally correct as well. Like I feel the same way. Luis Robert is such an interesting name because the guy, I feel like with motivation, Luis Robert is such a special talent because I mean physically he is huge from that right side, and for some reason I feel like a
He has
guy
so
that's
much power too.
he's got so much power, and I feel like a dude that is that big is shouldn't steal as many bases as he does, and that's something that kind of goes under the radar with Luis Robert. He does have 17 stolen bases. Like the guy can actually run. So to have like a guy like that in like your 5 or 6 spot, right? I would assume that's where we would kind of put him, either around Castellanos or flip him with Castellanos or something like that. But having speed like in the middle would be kind of cool.
I think if we traded for him, I think the lineup would completely flip around where you have Turner lead
Yeah.
off, then
Yes, you would
probably
have him.
Schwarber, Harper.
Uh-huh.
Actually, I don't know because I could.
Yeah.
All right, let's just say because I can see we trade for him. We put
Yeah.
Turner at lead off, stop the
Mhm.
9 hole, just to have that like
To flip it.
good turnaround where it's like Stock can get on base, Turner puts the ball in play,
Right.
Stock can go first to third. Um,
Yeah. But so that's kind of what I'm getting at too. Like Luis Robert is not a type of dude that's kind of like a plug and play. Like Luis Robert is a hell of a talent, and he's also approaching his final year of guaranteed money, and then he has club options after this. So I feel like that's something that we could use as well. I mean, because so we would trade for him. He's obviously here for this year, and then if he sucks, then we just let him go. Like or we accept his club option and then trade him.
mhm.
Like there's a lot of flexibility within his contract, which is super interesting. Um, I'm not quite sure how old he is. I can look it up real quick.
He's
But
20. He's 27.
27, like to get a dude that's 27, I feel like that'd be amazing. And
Who
plus,
2 or 3 years ago was phenomenal.
yeah, he was okay last year, but he was also hurt last year, so I'm not taking a lot. And I mean, yes, he's hitting below 200 right now, and yes, like he's also not doing well on base percentage wise. But when he's getting on base, he's stealing bases, and I feel like in a more competitive place. No offense to the White Sox, but we're not dumb. In a more competitive place, I feel like he would be really successful. Um,
Mm-hmm.
with Rhys Hoskins, I would really love Rhys Hoskins, but I do agree. I feel like that report came out to just kind of make us all start thinking or whatever. Um, and I feel like actually this literally just came to me, but as you're talking, but I feel like with the Harper injury last night, um, like and especially being his throwing arm, who knows what that's going to do just in general. Like we'll find out. I know it's like a right arm contusion they're calling it, but who knows what that means? A contusion. I don't know about you, but a contusion could be either his arm is almost broken or his arm has a bruise. I feel like it's
Contusion is just bruised.
a bruised. Okay, so that's what I
Yeah,
thought. Um,
yeah,
but it's definitely sore. So like you could definitely and wasn't that the arm that he got Tommy John on his right arm,
yeah.
which
So
sucks.
he'll probably miss a couple of days.
Yeah.
So we'll probably see more righty dominant lineup with Sosa at third, Bohm at
Yes.
first.
Which is
Um,
fine.
I mean, I I wouldn't hate it if we move Harper back out to the outfield and put Bohm at first, but there's
Yeah.
no way in hell that they're going to do that.
I know, and I think that I was also thinking was with Hoskins. That is, I feel like I've mentioned this to you, but he wouldn't cost a lot, because he does have this year guaranteed, and then he's got a club and player option next year. So either way, he could either decline to come back, which I doubt he would, or we could be like, okay, you didn't do well enough, like we should just officially let you go. So it does open up flexibility, which is cool. That's something that is really intriguing to me too. To get a guy that's hitting 290, not for free. We would probably give up Kepler and like I was texting you this, but like probably Moises Chasse or like another pitching prospect or whatever, for a guy that can actually produce. And then
Mm-hmm.
honestly you'd probably put Harper back in right and then Castian left, right? I would assume, or would you put Harper in left? Rob would figure it out somehow. Like
Yeah.
and neither one of them are going to center field. Let's be honest, neither one of
Mm-mm.
them.
No.
But at the same time, I could definitely. The more I think about it, I could definitely see Harper in left because Cassidy is really good at tracking balls in left or in right. Um, like we've seen, he's really worked on that. So to change him out of that would be dumb. But Hoskins is definitely an option. Um, yeah, I'm trying to think of some other names. The Marlins could be selling, but we were just talking off air. They don't have a whole lot to sell, other
Mm-mm.
than Sandy Alcantara, and as great as Sandy is, and I think Sandy Alcantara at his peak is like one of the best pitchers in the league. Do you agree? Like
I mean, Cy Young winner.
right? So I feel like at his peak he is awesome, but we don't really have a spot for him. We were also talking Pirates off camera, and the Pirates are weird because they don't really have much bullpen at all, as we saw in that um, series, especially because Skeens went to full 8 and they didn't have to touch the bullpen, and there was only 1 run given up. But in the other 2 games, we got what 7 runs and like 5 runs, but it was all of the bullpen. Um, so that's something that we were kind of thinking about, and we're not getting David Bednar. I can guarantee you that.
Dude, he
Um,
sucks. He
he's
sucks.
sadly he sucks, but he does. Um, and the Orioles are so weird. I don't know about you, Caleb. The Orioles are so weird. I don't know how to I don't know how to like be like, oh, I want this guy, but they could fully be good. Um, but I'm looking at this right now, and I completely forgot about this guy. But they also have Andrew Kittredge, who is a really solid left-handed reliever, who I have wanted for the past few deadlines. Like he's a really solid left-handed reliever. Um, I think he's a little banged up, but if we get him, and he would be a great out of the bullpen. I don't think we're gonna want Sir Anthony back if I had to take a wild guess. Um, but yeah, I mean Cedric Mullins I think is a big you know idea there. But okay, so moving on from the trade deadline, Caleb, I need your opinion on this because I mentioned this yesterday. Why, if this is more towards the bullpen, and I had this idea during the pod yesterday, what is with the reluctance from Rob Thompson or whoever has the decisions to move up and down between levels? What is the reluctance to bring up a pitcher that is solidified in AAA and then moving them to the bullpen in the major leagues? Like Nebel Kristomat is one of the best relievers in all of AAA right now, and yet I'm not even hearing any rumblings of them even thinking about bringing him up. Or why aren't we even thinking about bringing up like Mick Abel and making him one of those guys if Carlos Hernandez still sucks? Or like, you know what I mean?
Um,
I just want to hear your opinion. It's just an idea. I'm not really like annoyed. I'm just thinking about ideas.
Tristan Matt is a guy I think who will be up. He'll probably
I
be
hope.
Kirk Ring. Oh, I think he's gonna be like Kirk Ring 23. Where like we brought him like
Okay.
end of the season.
Yeah.
I think he'll play a little bit of a bigger role. Mick
Mm-hmm.
Abel he's gonna get traded.
You think so?
I think part of their bringing him up to pitch against the Pirates was also it
Huh.
was partly Noel's hurt. We need him ready to go out there and just destroy, but also kind of like a preview for hey, this is what this guy is capable of.
Right. And then
There are there are a lot of teams who need pitching,
Mhm.
and if we make a trade with the Orioles, I think Mick Abel for sure would go there. And
Okay.
if I'm Baltimore, I don't know why they wouldn't want him.
I don't either. I
He's
feel
a
like
righty pitcher. He looks like Wheeler 2.0,
it does
and they need pitching. Their pitching sucks.
everybody. The fact that their best pitcher is Zach Eflin is an issue, and I love Zach Eflin. But like, what are we doing? Okay, I agree. I do agree on Chris Matt too. Like, isn't he's killing it in AAA? But I'm hearing nothing about Robbie was thinking about bringing him up. Right?
I wonder.
And then do you know who I'm also thinking too? Um, I'm gonna mess up his name. You know the Japanese pitcher that we got this past year. He was not
I've
great in spring training,
I've heard he's doing better. I don't
and
know
he's
if
doing way better. He's got like a 2 ERA.
I wonder if part of it is they want to see if they can get playoff experienced pitchers for the
Right?
bullpen.
Yeah,
Because
I get that.
I
So,
don't think you want a bunch of guys who it's their you don't want a bunch of rookies
right,
in the bullpen when you're trying to make a World Series run.
I agree.
That could be a part of it. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. We're getting to the point of the season where a lot of young guys do start to get called up. Like
Right.
Painter's going to get called. I think as soon as Painter gets up,
Hmm.
that's when we'll see a lot of the MLB ready tested guys
Right.
like really come up and save the team.
I would love to see that too, because I mean, but do you see what I'm kind of saying? Like it's not like we have like this awful farm system like we did like 4 or 5 years ago. Like it was like
Mm-hmm.
we had like two good prospects and everybody else was like bomb, not bombs, but like not great. Um, but I feel like all of a sudden like we have a really solid farm system. Like we have Miller
We
who started off rough but is now killing it in Reading. Justin Crawford's still hitting. I don't think we'll see Crawford this year. I think he'll be more next year.
I think it'll be next year if we keep him.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I,
If we don't trade,
I don't know what their plan is with him,
I don't either.
but I hope they keep him
I did too. He seems like a great guy.
because I
Something
mean
else.
he's a fake kid where it's like he comes up
Yeah,
even if he struggles, I think a team's gonna see him and be like, okay, we can work with that, we can develop him further.
right.
And like he's gonna get bigger and stronger too. So I'm
Mhm.
not really worried about not a lot of pop being there.
Right. It's just so
But yeah,
fast.
like there's Kemp, who I think is an MLB
Yes.
ready player who could make an impact on the team. I think he's the guy who's going to get called up for probably a week,
Right.
almost kind of like give a little preview of what he can do.
Hmm.
Um, let's see. There's Escobar. I don't think we'll get. I
Yeah.
don't. I hope he doesn't get traded
Me too.
because he's a guy I'm really high on. High on.
It probably hopefully won't get traded.
He's not going anywhere.
I would hope.
He's one of the guy. He's one of the guys who is I put in the untouchable category for me.
Me too.
Dante Nori is a
Yeah.
guy who could be on the move. Gabriel Rincones.
Yep.
I don't think he'll ever see field in Philly.
Sadly,
We have a kid named Carson DiMartini.
I've seen.
I think he's a first baseman who rakes.
Yeah. I feel
We
like
have a lot of
yeah.
lefties in our system.
Right. And not that I mean, I do feel bad, but I feel like a lot of these guys are kind of blocked. Like, uh, DeMarini, I think his last name is right.
Yeah,
The fact that
DiMarini, not DiMartini.
he plays first base, and we literally have two people that are playing on the Phillies, and that can both play first base in Harper and Bohm. I feel like you are mega blocked in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Miller's an interesting one because Miller I don't think is blocked because you could fully move Bohm over the first or not keep Bohm down the road, you know. So Miller I think is an option. Justin Crawford, I mean I might be wrong by this because I mean I like to compare people to current like you know players, but I feel like Justin Crawford is almost like a very interesting version of Rojas. But because I mean, think about it. A lot of his hits. You've seen a lot of his. I mean, I would say that the two of us watch a decent amount of highlights, and we look at a lot of box score from the AAA. There's a lot of like ground ball hits that Justin Crawford gets. I think it's at a really high percentage, or at least it was, and that's kind of how Rojas got up here. Hit for a pretty high average in Double A, but then a lot of ground ball hits, and those ground ball hits in Triple A become outs in the major leagues. That's my only issue with Justin Crawford. The dude can freaking field though, correct? Like that guy can field, and he's super fast like Rojas. Um, but at the same time, if they end up down the road being like, okay, let's try out Justin Crawford and give Rojas like a break or whatever, and then they end up trading Rojas, that's fine, or vice versa, that's fine. But do you kind of see where I'm coming from in that stance?
I mean, yeah, they're definitely a little bit similar.
Yeah,
Rojas, he did good in Double A. He
yeah,
struggled in Triple A, which is why I'm shocked as to why they brought him up.
me too.
Because I
I
think I think
definitely talked about this.
I think he was hitting around 200 when they decided to call him up. I mean, like he was
Yeah,
one of the guys that they called him up
right.
purely for defense,
Yeah.
not offense. Crawford's been at Triple A all season. Like he started the year there, and he's consistently hit around 350.
Right.
So I think like he has a much better bat than Rojas.
I
He
agree.
does hit he does hit a lot of ground balls, but he also like it's not like he's like making weak contact. Like he hits the
Yes.
ball hard,
Yes.
which I think is something that if he just figures out his swing path a little bit more,
Yeah.
those ground balls will start to become doubles or maybe even triples.
I agree. And plus, Justin Crawford is what, 22, 23?
I don't even know if he's 22, dude. He might
Like
he might still be 21. Like he's
he is
young.
young, which is why I think he's a perfect addition next year. Whether that's with the opening day team or whether like you add him like in May or June. Like I think he's a great addition next year. Especially I feel like when you bring up a kid that's doing really well in AAA, I feel like that kind of motivates the person that's currently in their position.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least if I was a guy playing left and I was not slumping but like kind of not doing great, and they bring up the, like this young kid that was killing it in AAA, that would motivate me to be like, you're not taking my spot, like, and I feel like that's how it should be, especially on a good team like this. Um, but okay, so that was just a thought that I had the other day. They're just very similar. I don't know, players just in general. But I do agree. Crawford's swing is great. Like I actually like his swing. Um, I feel like we've talked about this, but it's very loopy. If that makes sense. Like it's very much up here loop. Like I don't know. And the swing path isn't super consistent, like you said. So once
Mm-hmm.
he gets more consistent on it and gets more barrel instead of like the top of the ball, which shoots it down, I feel like he'll be more consistently getting hits.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Ian, but I feel like Crawford, if he does stay this entire year in AAA, and we don't end up bringing him, I feel like he'll have way more time in the minors than Rojas did. Correct, or is it like a similar time? Because Rojas was young when we brought him up, because it wasn't even last year; it was the year before, and he's still like
I don't
24.
I don't know how long Rojas was in the minor leagues for.
Okay.
I mean Crawford will probably I think after this year he'll spend more time
Mhm.
than Rojas did. But
Okay,
I'm gonna go a little bit off topic
that's
and
fine.
talk about Miller.
Do it.
Who does Aiden Miller remind you of? Like which
Oh
current
well,
MLB player does he remind you of?
I mean, take out the speed. He's got a very similar swing to like Bobby Witt, if that
Oh,
makes sense.
interesting.
A very compact, but like explodes when the ball comes. Who do you have in mind? That's why
I was thinking Bregman.
I've seen that on Twitter. Yes. No, I can totally see it. He does have the same it's hard to explain, but his swing is like I can see that. Yeah.
It's more of like the size. Like they're both not the biggest dudes. Both
Mhm.
shortstops turn third base.
Right.
Um, I think they're both short and quick to the ball.
Yes.
Um,
That's
because what I
actually
think Miller's like what 6'1", 6'2",
sounds all right. Sure.
just over 200 pounds.
Sure. Yeah.
Like
I have no idea.
he's not like the world's biggest dude.
Right. So it's funny. Everything you just said is exactly why I think he's kind of like Bobby Witt. Bobby Witt is as short and compact to the ball as you could possibly get, but
Dude, he's so good.
he's so good. But at the same time, I totally see the Bregman thing because Bregman also plays a pretty good third base, and so does Aiden Miller.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that they both can flash some leathers, I think that's a pretty good comp. Plus Aiden Miller is what, 22, 23, 21, 20? I, you know, something in there.
One of those numbers you just said.
One of those numbers, one of them. But he's also super young, so that also helps. We have to get to a game when he's still there. Do you think he'll be moved up to AAA?
I don't know. Because
No?
he's still super young, just putting it together at AA, and I don't see why they would move him up
Right.
when he's still figuring out everything at that level.
I agree. So especially because he kind of started off not slumping, but like kind of. But he's definitely right back on. I actually just saw on Twitter he hit a home run the other day. So it's someone super interesting to watch just in general. Um, okay, what else? How did we get there? I forget how we got there. Was it?
You were talking about Crawford and how he's kind of similar to Rojas, and I was
Yes,
like,
yes. Okay.
we have a guy who's
Right,
comparable to like
right,
stars.
right. Like to Bregman, who's probably gonna be a Hall of Famer. So yeah, great. Um, okay. Do we have anything else to talk about? I think we're good, right? I can't think of anything
I
else
think
we
we
could talk
just
about.
ran through the list.
We definitely we hit
I think we did it
everything.
all. Talked about trade pieces. Do you want to talk? Nah, forget it because I don't think we'll end up getting Arenado, or even I don't think we'll
Yeah,
have. Let me just check his stats real quick because I don't think we'll have
he started off
any
amazing.
interest. I think
Yeah,
he's been struggling a little bit recently.
yeah.
Let's
I
see.
mean, I would assume that you would agree with me with this, but I don't think we're gonna go too crazy with the trade deadline, other than like bullpen pieces.
I really
Um,
think I think what we're gonna do is probably get a lefty and a righty reliever
mhm,
and call it a day. If we do anything else other than that,
mhm.
I think that is huge and
Yeah,
would definitely be a win for us, especially if like we get a right-handed outfield bat. I just don't think that's gonna happen.
right. And I feel like not that I'm going strictly off this, but I feel like it'd be pretty weird if Dave Dombrowski has been, consistently like running back, same team one last time, running back, and then all of a sudden he trades like boom for like Arenado. Like
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it would just go so against what he's been trying to do this entire season and off season.
Yep.
But I could totally see us bringing in someone. I don't know, like some sort of bullpen arm, like Chafin or Felix Bautista. I think is the best case scenario for us. Like if we get like a stud closer like him or Helsley, shit, we might be going back to the NLCS or World Series because that's all you need. That's really our biggest hole right now. So
Mm-hmm.
and plus we have by far the best rotation in baseball, like from 1 to 5. So and the fact that one of them is going to get bumped down, I think it's just like funny. So
Dude, that's crazy.
and
It's gonna be Suarez, but
yeah,
dude,
probably.
yeah,
I
it's
mean, and
crazy.
plus
It's
Ranger
crazy.
Ranger I think would be pretty good in the bullpen too. But I mean, we'll see. And I think we've talked about this too. But Aaron Nola has been atrocious, and the fact that he had his phantom, injured list thing, I think is interesting. Because it kind of shows you. I mean, at least this is the first time. Like Aaron Nola's been bad, but correct me if I'm wrong. They've kind of like I don't know, like ignored that and then just kind of let him pitch through. This is the first time, whether he's actually hurt, which it might actually be, but they kind of like acknowledge that he's not who he used to be, which is interesting. And you can't really put him in the bullpen, right? And
No, not well. One, we can't with his contract, but two,
contract, right?
um, he is a true starting pitcher. He is struggling
Yeah,
right now, but he's a true starting pitcher.
I agree. And I know, I think I said this in the last pod, and I think we've talked about this, and I think you agree, but I think Ranger Suarez is a great, would be a great bullpen arm. But it worries me that if we put him in the bullpen, that he's not that, and this is his contract year. I worry that he's not going to come back, because of Scott Boras. Because he is a Boras client now, and we all know Scott Boras. Scott Boras loves just to make his players money, and obviously with the bullpen, um, way you get paid way less money than a starting pitcher. And I feel like Scott Boras would not force Ranger out, but like put it in a way that they didn't respect you enough, as a starting pitcher. So and they put you in the bullpen type of thing. But I don't know. I mean, and I've said that before, and we talked about this, but I feel like Ranger Suarez has a great bullpen stuff. He's got 6 pitches, right? Like 6 or 7 pitches. So like, and he's done it before, right? I mean, I don't know, just ideas.
Well, all right. Let me. I've got two questions. Between Suarez and Sanchez, who would you rather keep?
Suarez.
I would rather keep Suarez.
Yeah,
And now, for a wild card series that let's say is going to be
yeah,
they're what, three, up to 3 games.
3 games max. Yeah,
What 3 pitchers would you pick?
Wheeler, of course. Lazardo, of course. I honestly think if we do make it to that wild card and not win the division, I think we're winning 2 games. I think we're sweeping whoever we have. I can be honest. So I think it's only going to take those two. But at the same time, I think that third pitcher's got to be Ranger.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I was gonna say I would keep Ranger because I know he was a guy he had a lot of trade interest,
yeah. This past
but
all season, yeah,
Dave didn't want to give him up, which is why with Andrew Painter coming up, Sanchez being a stud,
Mhm.
Luzardo being better than anyone expected.
Yeah.
Like, what
Hmm.
possible moves are they going to do?
Yeah, because I do like Sanchez, but see, I've texted you this before too. Sanchez needs another pitch. He needs a fourth pitch. Um, like I really like his sinker inside to righties, and then his changeup down, and then his wiffle ball looking slider. If this dude just gets like a consistent like four seam fastball, I think he's a totally different pitcher. Do you agree?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because the 3 pitches is nice, um, but I don't know, it makes him very readable. If that makes sense. Like, I don't know, and
Do you
the
know
fact that
like batters know what's coming?
exactly, and I feel like it has been nice that he's increased the amount the like velocity on his sinker, so he's hitting like 96 to 98 now, which is great, perfect. Um, but if Sanchez could just add one more pitch, I don't even care what it is. It could be a splitter. I don't care. If you just add one more pitch just to spice it up, I feel like he'd be such a good pitcher. Or even if you threw like a four seamer at like 95, like
I want him to
you
get
know,
Noah's four seam fastball.
yes, or Rangers four seam fastball where they just dot it on the corners, and then you just work the corners, and then that sinker you could put where he usually puts it still, and still keep doing the slider and changeup. That's just my opinion. But at the same time, like if they started Sanchez instead, especially because I'm assuming we're going to be home for that game, and Sanchez pitches really well when we're at home, I wouldn't be annoyed by it because then we have a fully healthy, fully rested Ranger Suarez for the NLDS to pitch game
Mm-hmm.
one, and then you work down from there. So that's honestly how I feel too, and it could honestly be flipped too. Like I wouldn't mind, you'd probably agree. I wouldn't mind Sanchez starting game one either. Like the Phillies have such a luxury of where they're at. And then I'm assuming like we're gonna move Painter to the bullpen for the postseason. What do you think? Like, I don't even know what you do with Painter.
Send him back down.
You think so? And then just like not even pitch him.
I'd be like, hey, you were fantastic,
Yeah.
but I don't, dude, I don't know. I
It's
don't know.
no, because I'm feeling the same way. You're at such a weird spot because you're obviously not going to send down Nola or DFA Nola, and you're not
No,
going to do the same thing to Walker because then you got to eat both of their money.
I,
So
I guess maybe whoever's struggling more between Suarez and Sanchez gets put in the bullpen,
Yeah,
or it's
yeah,
like,
sure,
dude, I have no clue. I don't
exactly.
know.
No, listen, this is all good because we're actually thinking about this in May, and this is all going to be in like 4 months. But things will work their way through. And then, but like I was just thinking, like, what if Painter's like a dog, and then you pitch Painter in Game 3, and then you have the two dog lefties coming out of the bullpen, or you pitch one of them in Game 1, like you know what I mean? Like, what if like Painter's like not like Paul Skeens, because I'm not going to compare the dude to one of the best pitching prospects like ever, but like what if he comes out and pitches like a 1.9 ERA or even like a 2.25 ERA. Like, are you really gonna tell a dude that, yo, you weren't good enough this year? I'm just gonna sit you down for the rest? Like, no, like I don't know. And it's so funny, but you're gonna agree. But I feel like it's been so backwards from the past few years. I feel like we've been at such like you would obviously know who our 1, 2, 3 is, but then you'd be like, okay, yeah, we don't need to pitch Taiwan Walker. Like, obviously not. But the fact that we have 6 or 7 really good pitchers is like starting pitchers. It's just such a luxury. Like, I've never felt like this before. You know?
Dude, this is brand new.
I know. It's kind of
Especially since like one of the guys we're talking about isn't
yeah,
even a professional yet. He's still in
exactly.
AAA.
Yeah.
But I mean, everyone knows that he's at a point where as soon as he's 100% healthy, he's up here.
Oh yeah, exactly. And he's gonna produce when he's up here. I guarantee that. The dude throws
Mm-hmm.
100. Like, of course he's gonna produce. But yeah, okay. Just some ideas. We're almost at an hour, so I guess we should stop. But you know what? What a great pod. All Phillies. Phillies always.
It was awesome.
And we're probably going to the game on Saturday, which is gonna be so great. And we get to see Reese. So yes. But thank you all so much for watching us today. Check us out on all of our socials. We're on, everything that you possibly think of. Check out the website. Check out everything. Everything's at your fingertips. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Go Phils, and we'll see you in the next one.
See you.